focused failure, I think. Is that right?
Exactly.
What is that?
That's a good failure, a focused failure. That's a failure where you have done all the preparation, you converted your intent to expectations, and then you executed those expectations. You prepared, you executed, and you still had to deal with failure because shift happens, as they say in the old
Well
country.
said.
And a focused failure is one where we immediately see it, we're candid about it, we all own it, and we take what it took from us, we learn it, we convert that learning to an application, and we teach everyone else. The ecosystem here of learning requires identifying that failure, learning from it, applying that learning so that you can grow and innovate and perform, and then teaching it to everyone else. Now, obviously, you can't teach the failure to everyone else unless you're open, candid, and very public about it.
Mm.
That's a focused failure. A failure that is not acceptable in this cultural transformation is a failure that happens because of sloppiness, recklessness, unpreparedness. That's never acceptable. So what we birthed was a culture built on what we called Failure 12, F12, which was a 12-step program built around failure. The goal of F12 is to drive high performance in innovation across the entire organization. The 12 steps really talk about, much like you would expect in any 12-step program, the ability to admit that fear of failure drives blame and erodes performance. So the first step says that we cannot succeed with failure, with fear of failure in our hearts. And we recognize that blame is much easier and safer than confronting failure. But unless we confront failure, we can't innovate and grow. So essentially what we did in these 12 steps was declare a leadership manifesto that required us to accept, as Brene Brown says, that we are hardwired for struggle. Mm. And demanded of us, as she also says, to have the courage to be imperfect. And then, and only then, can we learn and grow. So Sven and I, and an amazing millennial by the name of Russell Bacon, embarked on this wonderful cultural transformation journey. We built the 12 steps. We created a definition of failure. Sven actually went on video and said what was in his dictionary for failure. So we replaced Mr. Webster with the IT high performers across that organization. From the very top, Mike Benson, the CIO, to the very bottom, the line employees. When Mike Benson, the CIO, saw what Sven was doing, and Sven intended to do it within his team of solutions delivery, he liked it a lot. And he said he'd like to do it across IT. And I think it took great courage and great vision to be able to embrace F12 that way across his 900-person organization before we had even piloted it in solutions delivery. And that's pretty much how F12 was born.